Neighborhoods destroyed, casualties mounting. Near daily shelling continues as the war between Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine stretches now into its fourth year.
The situation is unpredictable and unstable at the moment.
At least 10,000 people have died since fighting began in 2014. More than 1.5 million lives uprooted, caught in the crossfire in a war the United Nations says has no end in sight. The Ukrainian president used his speech to world leaders last week to point to Russia as the cause of the violence.
Kidnapping people, conducting hidden war, towing civilian aircraft. Russia is not a contributor to the international security, but its biggest threat.
Russian President Vladimir Putin denies any direct role in the conflict. Efforts to broker an end to fighting have failed. While Kiev and Moscow claim they want a UN peacekeeping mission in eastern Ukraine, both sides have so far rejected how to make that happen. President Poroshenko, nice to see you.
Very nice to see you.
Nice of you to make the time. You met with the Prime Minister Trudeau, and you did discuss a future role for Canada in Ukraine, even though we're doing things now, but I think you called them new initiatives. What did you propose to him? What would you like Canada to do more of?
Definitely the most important thing, this is the possible peacekeeping operation to bring peace back to my land and to stop the Russian aggression. And it was extremely important because Canada has a unique experience. Canada was the leader of the peacekeeping operation and was the country responsible in the United Nations for the whole of peacekeeping. And I fully satisfied with our discussion with the Prime Minister Trudeau.
So you likely know that Canada's been promising a peacekeeping mission since this government came into power and has yet to commit to something. Mm-hmm. So did the Prime Minister seem to you more open to a peacekeeping mission in Ukraine than perhaps other places?
I have a feeling that he's absolutely open. He's very professional. He was very well prepared.
So you made this plea at the UN, and you made it again to our Prime Minister, but you made it knowing that the Russian president has also made a proposal for Russia to be part of that peacekeeping mission. What do you think is really going on there?
No, this is absolutely impossible under the statute of the United Nations that Russia can be the part of the peacekeeping mission because Russia is the site of the conflict. Russia is an aggressor. Of course, his Russian proposal is unacceptable because Russia want to use the peacekeepers kind of the bodyguard for the observers of the Special Monitoring Mission of OSCE, which is absolutely against the statute.
But given the power that Russia has at the UN, what is the likelihood that there would be a UN-operated peacekeeping mission?
This is very simple because Russia, when they illegally annexed Crimea and attacked of my nation, completely ruined the whole post-war security system. And if Russia would be the only nation who would be against peacekeeping, it would be very difficult to explain Russian why. Because this is occupied territory, occupied by Russian troops. And in that situation, that would be a recognition of the occupation by Russia. Okay. And with that situation, we will go to the International Court of Justice, and Russia would be responsible for the military crime.
Well, that leads me to another question about the satellite imagery that Canada was for a while allowing you to have access to help you with. Yeah. The Trudeau government stopped it. They said it was budgetary reasons, but that seemed hard to understand. Did you broach that with the Prime Minister, and how important were those images?
This is not just a matter of Canada, because this is the whole NATO system and provide the immediate access for Ukrainian intelligence to the satellite pictures. Yes. We're talking about that again, not because it's just a curiosity, because that can help us effectively to implement Minsk agreement, to have an evidence that Russia moved their tanks, artillery system, multi-rocket launch system, and we have an access on that. And Canada, just to be a part of this whole process, and I have no doubt that we will solve this question also.
Do you ever feel like the war in Ukraine is forgotten in some way?
Definitely not.
No.
If you see, for example, I don't know, last General Assembly of United Nations, the Ukraine was mentioned in a significant number of the speeches of all the leaders of the world. This is aggression of Russian Federation. This is the illegal annexation of Russian Federation of the Crimea. And the message
You have no doubt about that, that it's
not
Putin
me, but
offering
the whole
them
world.
to do. Yes.
We don't have a doubt about that from the very beginning. And I think that it was extremely important that this problem is on the top of the international agenda. And I want to thank the whole world for this unity and solidarity they demonstrate to Ukraine.
Well, is there a political settlement for Donbass, and could Canada be part of that, or is it solely a military pushback that you need? Would you consider a political negotiation?
First of all, we have already the scenario. The scenario is Minsk agreement, which has a security component, and security component is very simple: stop killing Ukrainians, stop, make a ceasefire, withdraw Russian army, withdraw Russian artillery and heavy armament, release all the hostages.
The reality of that happening is slim. Would you agree?
Look, Rosemary, we need to be an optimist, and I'm absolutely confident that if we will have a peacekeepers, if Russia take, because of the peacekeepers, their troops out of the Donbass, we don't have any conflict between the people. And if we disarmed all the Russian paramilitary group, and if the law and order would be there, definitely we can provide free and fair election and to reintegrate this territory back to Ukraine.
There is still lots of questions about whether the country is doing enough on anti-corruption measures, particularly the IMF, as you know, that is very concerned that you have not created these special anti-corruption courts. You seem to think it can be done within the existing court system. They do not.
This is not true.
Okay, so what is the problem with that idea? Why are you so resistant to what the IMF is proposing? Okay.
Nobody resistance. We have a full understanding with the IMF. And
so what is the problem then?
The answer is very simple. I wanted that all courts in the country should be anti-corruption. And this is the same way like they do in Canada, in the United States. I'm absolutely confident that it is vital for us to create anti-corruption system in the whole court institution of Ukraine.
And where would you say you're at, though, in that process?
I think it should happen. It should be launched in 2 weeks' time.
How close or far do you think Ukraine is to getting membership in NATO?
We need to reform the country that Ukraine meet the criteria of NATO membership. And again, we build up the new and effective army. We do the huge reforms in security and defense sector. And we enjoy very much the effective advisory support of the Canada, and lots of Canadian instructors, military instructors, are together with us in our training camps, and I'm really satisfied. And by the way, many of Canadians speak fluent Ukrainian and are Ukrainian origin.
Well, let me end on that point. Why is that relationship so unique? It doesn't matter what government we have in this country, there is a strong commitment.
No matter, I enjoy very much the cooperation with the Prime Minister Trudeau. We enjoy very much the cooperation with the Prime Minister Harper, and that means that our cooperation based not just on the Prime Minister President content, but based on values.
President, thank you for making the time.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.